Hello everyone, my name is Gracie and this is episode 2 of the Catacombs of Iratus, Lord of the Dead. I may actually label these videos rather than like 1, 2, and 3. I may actually label them with the number in the rest of the playlist, so I guess you guys will know when you see this you'll know, and I currently do not know. Why am I explaining this? Okay. Okay, I'm still trying to find a good spot for my camera, so we're going to experiment. I'm going to try to remember to look at my camera during this episode to see what I'm covering up. Last time I was covering up some stuff down here, which I didn't really want to be doing. I'm only covering up not really much over here. I think this might be the right spot for it, so we'll see. So let's see, we now have our spooky team ready to go in for a fight, while we have some other people sort of resting and recuperating here. I think what I'm going to do is pause real quick and level up this team because they've got some upgrade points and stuff like that. So let me just show you how one of them works, just in case you haven't seen, and then I'll do the rest of them off camera. So every time you get a skill point, every third level, you can upgrade one of your abilities, and you can only upgrade it one side or the other. So you can see, like, for instance, this attack here, Cursing Touch, deals 75% of his spooky value, his dread, as stress damage. And then it does an additional stress damage each turn. So that's a really cool attack. Now, I've upgraded it this way, which gives me +1 dread, and now it does 90% of my dread value instead of 75. Whereas I could have gone this way and make it so that the dread over time lasts for 4 turns instead of 2. So you can build this more of a long-term effect or a stronger, shorter-term effect. So that's really cool. And there's even things in this game that might switch something like physical into magical, or something into stress damage, or just completely change how it works, like Mini Winnie's skill that only hits the thing in the back. Yeah, here it is. So I upgraded this so that it only targets the thing in the back, but does double the damage it would normally. So I made that really, really hard to use, but it's almost a one-hit attack, almost a one-hit kill when there's 4 units on the enemy side. So it's really interesting to be able to choose how your minions level up. So for instance, I have this 2 tower, 2 power. This guy is a tank. He is an absolute beefer. He will stand there and take punishment forever. He's got 11 armor and 13 resistance. He has some abilities that actually make him a little tankier, like removing debuffs from himself, things like that, stances. And then I have another version of the Dark Knight here. This is the Dark Knight Rises, and this guy's built for spookiness. So he actually does a fair bit of stress damage and is still pretty tanky, but he focuses more on the stress damage than actually surviving hits and like negating enemy powers. Now, he's still pretty tanky. That's his role. But this is a stress tank, and this is a physical damage tank. So he can do a bit of actual physical damage. You see here, this guy does more damage depending on his armor and resistance added up. So he can actually do a fair bit of damage. This guy doesn't do that. He's spending his time doing stress damage instead. So it's just a little kind of flavorful thing. And also, it's really cool to be able to build your units different ways. And you can see, even though they're both Dark Knights, they have very different stats just from the way they've been leveled. All these things are very important. Accuracy, evasion. So like this guy's got 11 and 13. This guy's got 12 and 14. So he seems tankier. But, you know, it somewhat depends on what kind of items they have equipped and how their skills have been leveled up. So it's a really interesting system, actually. So then let's go back in here, for instance, for this character who has a couple types of things to level up with. So we've got a stat point, and we've got... where is the stats? Here we go. So I have stat points in here. So you gain 2 stat points per level. So I can increase his various parameters, but you can see the cost has been going up as you get more and more points in something. So it's really prohibitive to get another block and ward on him, because at this point it costs 18. So let's see, what could I get? I could get evasion. I could get luck. This character does have a lot of luck and does get crits pretty often. So I have 8 points, so I could get +3 luck for 2 point cost. And then I would have 2 left, and then I'd have 4 left, or 6 here. I could get 3 dread. So let's get 3 dread, and then let's get a few points of 4 points of luck here. There we go. So now he's going to do even more stress damage, and he's got a little bit more luck, so his crit chance is even higher. And he even can use his luck stat to make enemies weaker. I'll show you how that works when we get to it. But he has a skill that basically makes enemies really unlucky, and then if enemies are unlucky, your crit chance against them increases. So for instance, an enemy with -10 luck, Touchy would have a 38% chance to crit on that character. So it's a really fun build to get the crit stress damage that makes them, they just flee so fast. It's really fun. So that's how you level that up. And then in terms of skill points here, let's see. There's only one skill left to level. So we've got a physical attack that makes them lose luck. Here is, it does the same damage, but they lose more luck. And here is more damage until, oh, they lose luck until the battle ends. Ooh, that's an interesting one. But this would give him more luck. So I'd rather go this way, give him a couple points of luck, and then it just makes them lose more luck for a couple turns. So we'll just do that one.
Back to battle.
So this guy is actually all the way capped up on these skill points here, which is pretty interesting. So I don't know what happens if you gain more of these now. The ultimate ability can be upgraded at level 15. Well, he's level 19. So that's already upgraded. So yeah, I'm not sure what happens if you get these at this point. So let me pause the game. I'm just going to level up these other characters really quickly. Just this party. I'll just level them up as we go, as I need them. Let me know in the comments if you do want to see me actually spending time on camera leveling them up and get my thought processes. But for now, I'm just going to do it this way so I don't have to bore you. So just let me know how you feel about that. All right, I have everybody quite leveled up now, so I think that's going to be really, really great. Did I cover up much on the screen? No, I didn't. Camera's good so far. So far, so good. So we're going to go on into the... Let me just check and see how my Digger's Souls... So I've got 202 Digger's Souls. You can upgrade these buildings by basically... It's sacrificing a minion, but I like to think of it as them sort of working there. So I need this particular minion in Unfrozen to upgrade this. Now, some types of creatures I haven't learned how to make yet. So, for instance, the Unfrozen, I have to complete the game on more pain. Ghoul is I have to deal a bunch of damage to my own minions, which I do not like doing. Fallen Dampier, lure 3 Dampires over to your side. And then we have the Black Widow, complete the game on more pain or higher. These ones were DLCs, I think, these 3. And actually, I actually really like all 3 of these quite a bit. So if you do like the game, I would recommend looking out for getting this DLC. These are great minions. This one, Infested, is really fun because you just throw up onto people and it stresses them out. This guy has he can do like 3 different things, which makes him very versatile. And he's really good at moving around in the lane. So if you want to activate combos by moving around, he's really good for that. And this guy's sort of a health tank, and he can eat people. I think his ultimate, let me see, where is he? Oh, I can't look at them right now. Oh, here we go. So his ultimate is instantly destroys an enemy that has less than 20% sanity left after taking damage from this, and then the Abomination receives a buff where he heals health at the end of combat. So he just eats a guy that's low health or low sanity. Really, really cool. He has also got like a shield. He's got a buff where he can buff himself with damage, and then he can repeat this, so he can just get more frenzied and more frenzied. Really fun unit, actually. Okay, so let's go back into the graveyard and just see if there's anywhere that I can build. This would require a shade. I can make shades, I think. This is how I get Digger's Souls, which I don't need a ton of. Abode of Wrath. This would increase my Wrath amount that I get. Dead Lake. This would increase the chance of finding artifacts. Excavations, where I can find the random parts. I probably want to go for this one. So I need a ghoul. Can I make ghouls, actually? Wasn't that one of these? Oh, yeah, I can't make ghouls. I can't make ghouls, so I have to pick a different building. Arena is a good one. I don't want to sacrifice a Dampier because or Fallen Dampier. I can't, I think Dampiers are bad guys, and I have the Fallen ones, which are on my side. Here is where you heal up after combat, but I don't find that you need a ton of these unlocked. Definitely a couple of them. So Excavation I can't do. Abode of Wrath I could do. Iratus statue gives me mana. That could be very useful. I need to put a vampire in there. Or the Dead Lake for artifacts. So I'd say we go for this one. So let me build a quick shade, and then we sacrifice him in there. So this is really easy to do. We just find the minion we need. shade. Here we go. And so what I'm going to do is just basically put in the weakest things possible. I don't need to make this a special minion. It does not matter. Rags. So just a bad piece of rags, and then armor. Put that in there. So then we craft the shade.
In tenebris mortis.
Yeah, sure. Whatever that means. So this is just a level 1 shade. So as I was talking about in the last episode, this is why you would want to use the brains. I could boost this shade up to level 21 instantly if I wanted to, which is basically tied for my highest. So that's the point of the brains, but in this case I don't need any brains. Go back into the graveyard, go to the dead lake, and then we just drag this guy in here, and then we've got 200 of our 202 of our 200 souls. So we just pop you in there. Silent Waters, finish upgrading the dead lake. I haven't done that before. So now I've got 4 people giving me a 10% chance to find artifacts, which are ways to boost up Iratus himself, which is here in artifacts. So you can see you can wear different kinds of artifacts, and then you can also disintegrate artifacts, and it gives you, what does this give you? Oh, experience, that's right. So I do like this a lot, because even though I found a lot of things I really like, doesn't matter. If I find more stuff, I can just turn it into experience, level up Iratus faster, and get more of these cool things from the perk trees, which you can see I've still got like quite a ways to go. So that's really cool. Okay, so how are we doing on time? Doing good. So let's go do something in the dungeon. So now I can choose to go this way and get either health for my minions or mana for me, Iratus, which I have full, and I also don't really need health. Or I can go this way and get dormant minions. So let's take this battle squad. It doesn't matter because we're not going to fight anything here. So then we get to pick a minion out of here. So I have 3 of these. I have 1 of these. And I have 1 of these banshees. Banshees are pretty good. I think I prefer these guys. I'm just going to grab this guy. So he popped out at level 19, which is kind of insane. So let's just pop him over here in one of these squads. There is a limit to how many minions you can have, but I find that it's not really an issue. Like, eventually I will lose somebody. They do not live forever. It's going to happen. Sometimes you're ill prepared for an encounter. Sometimes, you know, with crits. But, you know, it goes both ways. The luck works for you as well. So let's see here. We have a battle. Now, these guys we fought one of them here. They are vulnerable to stress damage. So we're going to go in here and we're going to spook them. So these little alchemist assassin little shit guys here, we're just going to scare them to death. So let's just look at our abilities real quick. So this is Gracian. This is me. So we have this physical damage that ignores armor. Not interested in that. We have lingering breath. Curse the target for some stress damage, and then they take an additional stress damage per turn for a while. We can also take a look at these guys' stats here. They have no block or ward. They have a lot of resistance, so we don't want to be doing magic damage, but we're not doing that. We're just going to hit their sanity, which here is 200. So they have 200 health points in sanity. We have support, remove debuffs from the target, and then the infested gets stronger for each remove debuff until the battle ends. So this guy can sort of drain, feast on malady. Yeah, so he drains debuffs from other units and then gets stronger, which is pretty cool. We also have wretched luck buff. Get 2 initiative, 30 accuracy, and 45 luck for the next attack. This is really cool because he has this attack here that can curse all enemies until the battle ends. So it's kind of nice to get the crit and then just try to hit everyone with a crit at the same time. It's quite fun. And then also all of our minions have passives, and sometimes the enemies do. That's this little star here. So when the infested dies, all enemies receive an incredible amount of stress damage. So we don't really want that to happen, but it is sort of a Hail Mary. If he dies, there's a good chance they take so much stress damage that it turns the battle. Tusif here has accuracy and evasion at the start of each turn until the end of combat, stacks up to 6 times. So he's just getting more and more accurate and good at dodging, which is interesting. This guy, each enemy that successfully attacks the mummy loses 10 luck, so that makes them more and more vulnerable and less likely to crit, which right now they have a 3rd chance to crit. And then this guy here, the Dark Knight, cannot be critically hit, so that's a really nice feature in this case for these guys, because they can hit him all they want. They will never crit him. So let's get going here. I've got a lot of mana. Target enemy loses luck until the end of the battle. If they escape, Iratus receives a vampire after winning the battle. Doesn't stack. So I want to be casting this because I do need more of those vampire characters so that I can build my own Dampiers or my Fallen Dampiers because I haven't unlocked that yet. So let's just Blood Curse like just this one.
Crimson Hunger.
There we go. So they lost a bunch of luck. They have -10 now, which is great. So they have... Not only can they no longer crit, but now we have a plus 10% chance to crit them. So let's get here to our Lingering Breath, and I'm going to spit that right on this guy. There we go. So that's going to be a lot of curse damage. He's going to take 17 to 18 per turn for 4 turns. So that's about probably 90 more stress damage he's going to take if I do nothing else. So then we've got this guy. This guy's spooky. Stare into the void. He does... damage, stress damage, and additional stress for each debuff on the target or buff. So this will be a pretty good attack here. So you show him what's under the helmet, it scares him. My soul is empty, my body is hollow. Now we have 2 Sif. These are pretty basic minions, but if you get them really leveled up, they're very fun. So there's a stress attack. All opponents randomly swap position and gain -20 evasion for 2 turns. So let's use that while we have pretty high wrath here. So let's go ahead and click that. They all got an insanity. I'll explain that in a second. So what happened there was... The lower your sanity, the more likely you are to get an insanity. We got a little lucky there by getting it on all 3 of them. Most of the time it's good. Sometimes it's bad for me. So insanity, like for instance this guy here, Panic. He gets extra initiative, extra evasion, and -50% accuracy, and he's got a chance to skip his next turn. And this is for the rest of the battle unless something weird can cure it. So you can see this is sort of a mixed bag, but it does make him... like pretty much useless. There's a 1/3 chance he skips a turn and -50% accuracy on his attack. So he's kind of like, we're gonna leave him alone for a while now. This guy here got Betrayal. He's got a 75% chance on his turn to attack an ally instead of one of me. He's kind of a non-issue as well until he's the last one. And this one also got Betrayal. So these guys are just literally stabbing each other in the back because we scared them so bad that they've gained a insanity debuff. So now we're on to our mummy. Our mummy is very powerful. You can see here that's a pretty good amount of base stress damage and then another of that same amount. So basically this attack is going to do 3 times that damage just over 2 turns. We've got a stress attack to 2 units, but it doesn't have a debuff. And support removes allies. Curse. Curse is the target for 2 turns. Now this hits everyone, so that's an interesting one if there's still a lot of units left. I'll go ahead and use this one right now. Just because this one's getting close. Kind of like in Darkest Dungeon, when the enemies get down to low stress, if they get to 0, they have a chance of... Sorry about that, a sudden cough. Okay. If they get to 0 stress, they have a chance of having a heart attack. And of course, if they have 0 stress, they also have these insanity debuffs that make them much worse. The most frustrating thing in this game is when their sanity is low and they're 0 and you just cannot get them to flee or die. They just won't do it. They just keep fighting on. It's really annoying. Sometimes their insanity can be they rally and get even stronger, so you do have to watch out for that. So in some ways, I would advise against hitting them all at once with a big stress attack, because if they roll good insanities, then you're in trouble. All right, so I'm going to keep blood cursing these guys because I want them to flee at the end of the battle and become a vampire. If that isn't obvious what I'm doing, I'm actually infecting them with the curse that makes them into vampires, and then when they come back to me as vampires, they're just this person who turned into a vampire, which I think is super cool. Do I have an attack that hits multiple units? No, not at this time. So let's just get this one, and we'll just infect you with some stress. There we go, a little stressful for that guy. And then this will give him another debuff. So we're filling them up with dots and debuffs. They're just going to take an incredible amount of stress damage. like every turn. They're just taking tons of damage to their stress. You see, we haven't touched our health, not even once. We don't need to. This guy has a magic attack. Target can't move. Stress attack. Removes all buffs. Loses all initiative for 1 turn. Curse to the enemies on the chosen position and the next position in line, and does an additional dot of stress damage. You can see how effective this team is. I love this team so much. So we're gonna go ahead and hit this guy. Oops, I right clicked instead of left clicked. There we go. Oh, he did attack me. When this guy's attacked, I gain wrath and mana, which is super cool.
This never gets old.
Heart attack, that guy's gone. Now, I don't want them to die. I actually want them to flee, but these guys do not look like they want to leave. They want to stay and die. Okay, so we've got another big stress attack here. Save my wrath. Negative luck. Well, this would just be a huge hit. This guy's got 52. Yeah, we don't actually really have to worry about it. And then here's another one. Wasn't there one that hits 2? No. Nobody even has a debuff for me to take off. This battle is going extremely well. So that guy's cursed, and so these two are both at 0. So what I'm going to do here is this one will hit 2 enemies, so there's a chance I just wipe them both out. There's one gone. Alright, hey buddy, look at this. Oh, I missed! Oh, because this guy has the evasion. That's right. Alright, touch him. Touch him, touchy. There we go, heart attack. So none of them fled and became vampires, but that's okay. I can't wait around forever. I got a level 30 brain. That's ridiculous. And some common stuff. I also got a spirit spear. Wow. These are items that go on our creatures. At the beginning of battle, Iratus gains 100 wrath. That's a one-time use. Yeah, there's consumables you can put on your character too. Wow, that's some good stuff I got there. So graveyard event. So these 3 have leveled up. That's what this little skull means, is that they gained a level while they were in the mortuary, the arena. The mortuary, you can see these 2 are, I think, all the way fully healed. The statue of myself, I got some mana back. I got some experience to Iratus himself, so I can get talent points. I dug up 2 artifacts from the lake. It looks like I found a cut off human face. All minions receive 10% extra damage dealt until end of combat. Plus 10% extra damage dealt. Okay, so this is an expendable item that makes my minions do more damage for a battle. And then here's a void pendant that gives me spell power if I wanted to focus on the spell casting. And I also got some digger souls, which I need for building more buildings. So there we go. So that was a very successful battle. Now these guys are so well... they did so well in that fight that I don't even need to heal them. They can actually go right back out if they want to. So let's get into the mortuary here. Get Blell Elemental and Danny back in. Does anybody need to heal? Not really. I mean, they're going to heal. They heal like 10% or so per battle. If they're not in the mortuary heals them up almost all the way, which is really nice. So let's see. Does anybody need to be in here for... I mean, these guys... I mean, I have no problem with these guys being leveling up. I think they also can do either physical or stress damage builds. I think one of mine, I built them so that every turn they deal free stress damage. So I have like a secondary stress team that I was working on. Anyway, I don't like the vampire units that much. Should probably send them in to die or something. So the mortuary, we don't need anybody in there. Those guys are still leveling up. That's fine. So I think it's time to take our next team in. So I think I'll probably... Let's see what the next event is. Raise the level of minions or Iratus himself. My minions are doing a pretty good job in terms of level. I can also go here and get artifacts, but I tend to find a lot of artifacts. So I'm actually going to go this way. And I'm going to take the experience for myself. 100% experience from the current level for Iratus. So I'll just gain a level. Perfect. And I like that because I have so many talents I still want to get. So I want to gain that experience. And then the next room is going to be another battle. There are one construct and 2 of those cultist guys, those spell thieves. So probably take my physical damage team in just because the construct doesn't have any doesn't have any stress to be abused. But you could do this with this team because I have some other types of damage. It would just take kind of a while to do. So I'd rather just take this team in. So on the next episode, I will take this team in. I will level them up probably off camera again because I probably won't have seen what you guys think about that until I've already done this episode, if that makes sense. So I'm going to do that, and then we'll continue on the map and see what's going on. Eventually we'll have a mini boss. This looks like it'll be a little bit tougher. Yeah, sometimes there'll be elites, and those are just going to be better versions of the base. And yeah, there's one. There's an elite, some sort of Templar with a weird shield face mask thing. So that doesn't look particularly fun. To try to beat that guy is probably a pain in the butt. All right, so thank you everybody so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this episode, or this series so far, I guess I should say. If you have, please like and subscribe. Let me know in the comments how you feel about this. Check out the link in my description for my Patreon if you'd like to support the channel for only $3 a month. You can see me conquer the living. I will see you in the next episode.